Hey there, introverts and deep thinkers. Welcome to Introverts Unmuted, the podcast where we prove that quiet doesn't mean invisible and deep thoughts deserve a mic. If you've ever felt drained by small talk, mastered the art of sneaking out of the room, or wished the world understood the magic of solitude, this is your space. We dive into everything from navigating social energy to embracing creativity, confidence, and the unique power of being an introvert. So get comfy, plug in, let's turn up the volume on our quiet confidence. I'm Amber Hansel, and this is Introverts Unmuted. Today I have with me Sarah. Welcome. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good. I'm so glad that you're here. So Sarah's a single mother of two boys and a fitness and nutrition coach. And I love that you help women just feel good in their bodies and through all of the things, because I think it is so crucial, especially I am a mom of two boys as well. And so just feeling good again, even after having babies and as they get older and everything that comes with it. So how did you really come into, hey, this is what I want?
Yeah, it was definitely a journey for me. I was in a very bad place in my life. I was in a toxic marriage and just very unhappy, and I'd lost all the joy in my life. So I made the decision to leave and to really work on myself. And I kind of went way too far, the opposite direction. I went so hardcore in like macro tracking and working out literally every single day and just not giving myself any breaks. I ended up messing up my shoulder and like having some stomach issues just from going too hard. So that's when I found my current approach, which is way more balanced, where I focus on whole foods and how the food actually makes me feel and like building balanced meals instead of just hitting the right numbers. And I only work out 3 days a week because that's what works for me and my schedule, and that's what feels good for my body. And I help women find their balance and what that looks like for them now.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you recognize that, hey, I need to do what is going to work best for my body. And that's not, tracking every single thing and working out so hard that you're injured and unable to do what you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you find that as an introvert and potentially going to the gym and, getting help with nutrition and fitness, how, as an introvert, does that affect things?
Yeah. So I work out from home myself. One, because it's just easier as a mother with kids, and a single mother too, I don't want to be getting a babysitter just to go work out. I want to work out in my home. So that kind of deletes the whole scary of going to the gym. And then for nutrition, it's really just about asking for help when you need it. It doesn't need to be like a big, scary, crazy changes overnight. It's really about like small steps, one at a time, that build on top of each other.
Yeah, I have found that I am awful at taking supplements. I forget. My husband bugs me all the time. He's like, I doubt that you're ever going to take those. But I bought some recently and I'm like, hey, I need to take these. I want them. And so I've actually put them in my bathroom where like my toothbrush is so that I can remember to do it. So it's really like habit stacking for me is like, okay, what else am I doing that can help me remember to take this or remember to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. Habit stacking is such a great tool. Like for me, for working out, it might sound crazy, but I actually work out usually while I'm cooking because I try to do very low energy meals, like, one pot or one pan in the oven, crock pot, whatever it is, So it's kind of do my tiny little bit of prep, put it in, and now I've had a dedicated 20 minutes to crush a workout just in the comfort of my home. And then dinner's done when I'm done.
I love that. It makes it so simple and easy to work into what you're already doing in your day. You know that you have a set amount of time during that is like,
Mhm.
okay, now I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And workouts definitely do not need to be like hour long. You can get a very effective workout in 20 minutes. And especially when you're just doing it like for health and for energy and you don't have crazy physique goals, like 20 to 30 minutes is amazing.
hmm I know. So last year we got a puppy and I didn't realize how much I actually needed the walks that we go on. And sometimes I know like we have a yard for her to go in, so she doesn't necessarily need a walk, but I find that it's motivation for me to do it. Like I was out this morning, it was a -20 and snowy, and I had my snow pants on, and all I was thinking was like, I don't need a weighted vest. I have my snow gear on and power walking down the road.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's like those things that I'm like, that is exactly what it is. And I think there's so much more behind those smaller workouts that we can do that aren't just like for our physical health. It's a lot for our mental and emotional well-being as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many studies that talk about the positive effects of exercise on our mental health and our outlook and just the way that we show up in life. I know there was one study I read, I think it was 150 participants that all had varying ranges of depression and anxiety. And I think it was like 93% reported that their depression or anxiety had gotten better just from one exercise session a week, which is crazy.
And that's insane. And that's just one a week. And so
Yeah.
like that's unbelievable that 20 minutes can make such a drastic change in your health, overall health.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I love that you do in-home workouts because that's usually where I do my workouts as well, just because it's so much easier for the time. And especially as a mom too, that it's just like, how do you even do that? But I know some people are like, well, where do I begin with a workout at home?
Yeah. So, I mean, all you need are one or two sets of dumbbells or some mini bands. You know, you don't have to go crazy and spend all this money on equipment. Um, and I mean, as far as how to structure the workout, you really only want 4 to 5 exercises and then to do multiple reps or sets, sorry, of each exercise. You don't need like 20 different exercises that you're doing like 10 reps of. You actually want to keep it simple. That's better for your progress. Um, and having a plan that's written for you so that you don't have to guess and it's just like, okay, this is what I'm doing today. I don't even have to think about it. Like no mental load is so beneficial.
hmm And you also find that with focusing on the whole foods, it's just having a plan in place and potentially like prepping food beforehand, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So as far as meal prep, I think it is very individual, whether it works for you or not. I personally don't do a whole lot of meal prep. Um, but when I have busier weeks, I do tend to lean towards it because it just frees up extra time. But having a generalized plan is great. Like for me, I use the PFF method, which is protein, fiber, and fat. So at every meal, I'm asking myself, is there a protein source? Is there a fiber source? And is there a healthy fat source? And if not, I'm going to make sure to add that so that I know it's a balanced meal.
Yeah. I feel like my biggest like flaw is forgetting the vegetables. My kids refuse to eat vegetables. They eat like corn and that's it. And I cannot have corn with everything. So then I just forget to make vegetables, and I'm trying to get better at remembering to do that. But it's like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I have to make a vegetable. And like once I make them, I eat it and I enjoy it. But it's that, oh yeah, I have to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And for when it comes to like, if your kids don't want to eat, a specific meal or healthy food item, I would never say to cook a whole separate meal for yourself, because that's just crazy. That's too much. But to add one extra ingredient that that you like and you'll eat is, it's not that much extra work compared to I'm going to have this whole separate meal because it's healthier.
Yeah, I have a very picky eater. He cannot have anything touching or anything. So a lot of times I have numerous pots going because I know he will eat it as long as it's on a plate. And then I will take his out, and then I will blend, put the rest in a casserole for the rest of us or whatnot, or perhaps, make something slightly different, or know that I have food available, like leftovers. Oh, hey, I had made extra rice. He doesn't want to eat that. I have that. And it's just easier. And I also this year I have a whole binder of meals, and then each week I just pick out 4 or 5 that I know that we're going to eat that week. And it's been so easy for me to go, oh, hey, this is what we're going to have tonight. And I don't say, oh, hey, Monday, this is what it is. I just like pick them out, and then I'm like, okay, I feel like eating this tonight. And going through.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with having kind of the rough outline. Like it doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be Monday we're having this, Tuesday we're having this. It's pick 4 or 5 meals, and then on the day of, what do we feel like out of these meals?
Yeah, exactly. And it really has and then, the kids know too. I put it up and they're like, what are we having? And I'm like, that's what we're having.
Yeah, go look at the board.
Go look at the board. That's what it is. And whatever. Right. And I find that then the mental load of what am I cooking? What is this? What do I need to do? Because there are so many other decisions in our day that it's like, if there can be one less decision made, I would really enjoy it.
Yeah. And then for the other meals, I find breakfast is the one meal that we tend to be very repetitive with. Like naturally, I know I have like, I think 3 breakfasts that I literally just repeat forever. And for lunch, if you're like me and you have to leave the house for work, which most people do, that is the one meal that I would say either prep ahead or just make sure you're cooking extra at dinner and have like leftovers the next day.
Yeah, I am an awful breakfast person. I don't eat breakfast till later in the morning. My stomach just cannot handle food first thing in the morning. It handles coffee. And I know everyone's like, you need to eat before coffee, but it does not work for me. I've tried, I can't do it. But I always make sure that it's high in protein when I am eating later in the morning. So whether it's yogurt with like chia seeds and granola and all of that, or sourdough with egg, whatever, to make sure. And then, yeah, my lunch when I do work in the office, I try and have leftovers or salad or whatnot. So,
yeah, just keeping it simple.
yeah, I know. And same with the kids' lunches. I always find like some days I'm like, I don't know what you're eating today. What are you going to eat today? But I have found we make extra pancakes on the weekends, and then I'll put them in the freezer. And my kids don't mind having them cold. So I just put them in their lunch with a little thing of syrup, and they have pancakes for lunch.
That's awesome. I know, it's funny. I don't find my kids too picky, but my one kid, he is picky with his school lunches. It's But once you find that one thing that works, there's no reason that you have to change it, right? If they're happy to keep having it on repeat, then let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, until they stop eating it, I don't I don't switch it up very often unless they ask. So, because I know that that's what's going to work.
Hmm.
And I think that's really the whole message here is you have to listen to your body and to what other people are saying and say, does this work for me? And check in with yourself regularly and, kind of do an assessment.
Yeah, there's so many approaches to nutrition and fitness, and there is no one right answer. There's only the answer that works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I always ask people, so what's one piece of advice that you would give to introverts that are struggling perhaps to find their voice or their confidence? Perhaps it's within their body or perhaps it's within their eating or whatever it may be.
Yeah. So for myself, I found my confidence actually through exercise. Um, and it didn't have anything to do with, oh, I lost weight and now I'm confident. It wasn't anything like that. It was keeping a promise to myself, no matter how small. When you do that consistently, your confidence grows. And as my confidence grows, I found my voice. I will say that you do not have to be the loudest person in the room for your voice to matter. That is something that I definitely struggled with when I was younger. But over time, I've learned that like that's just not the case. Everybody's voice matters. It doesn't matter how loud you are.
Yeah, I really agree that it's as we continue to show up for ourselves, that's where our confidence is, and that's where our voice really starts to shine. Because as soon as our confidence grows, then we feel like, yes, I can voice my opinion, and what I say and do matters.
Yeah, and as your confidence grows, you start to do more scary things, which just builds and builds and builds.
It really does. It starts this giant snowball effect that greatly impacts you and those around you.
Absolutely.
So I know that you have a free 4-week home workout plan and a high protein takeout order guide. What do these look like?
Yes. So the home workout plan, like you said, it's 4 weeks. You get three workouts: an upper body, a lower body, and a full body. And there's a 4-week schedule showing you kind of how to schedule them throughout the month, so you know exactly when to do them. And then there's also video examples. So if you're not really sure what exercise is, you can watch the example and know what to do. I believe they're all roughly 20 to 25 minutes long. And then the high protein takeout order or takeout guide is oh gosh, how many locations did I include? I think there's 12 locations with just my favorite go-to orders that are all higher in protein. Everything is under 600 calories, I believe, because I know for myself as a single mother, sometimes I rely on takeout, but I don't want that to be an excuse to not still eat a balanced meal.
Yeah, I know. And sometimes, when I'm out at work and I don't have anything at lunch, I go out, but I want something that's going to make me feel good and make my energy last through the afternoon because that dreaded 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock crash that happens. Some days I get over it and some days I don't, or it doesn't hit until 5 o'clock.
Yeah, we all have those days where we're running around from appointment to appointment or something gets thrown at us last minute and it's like, you know what? I am not cooking today.
Yeah, exactly. That happens way too often sometimes, but I have found with my meal plan, we have ate out a lot less. So I'm like, hey, I have food at home, whatever. This is how it's going to be. Because we do in the summer, we have a garden. And so a lot of our veggies are actually from our garden that I have frozen. I have blanched and frozen. So a lot of our food is technically ours and it's fresh. And so it does taste so much different than others. I wish that I could do that with fruit, but that's not happening where I live in Alberta.
Okay. A vegetable garden is one of those things that's been on my list. I've only been in this house for, I think, 2 years now. And Unfortunately, the outside just has not gotten my attention yet, but that is something I absolutely want to do one day.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. My husband does most of the planting and organizing that. And I found myself this year doing a lot of the harvest prep in the fall, where it was, peeling and cutting and blanching and freezing. Because what I do when you blanch it, then it preserves most of those enzymes. And then I throw it on a cookie sheet so that's kind of individually frozen, and I can throw it into a bag so that I then have it. It's better portion size, because otherwise it's just going to be like a disaster.
It's just a giant clump in a bag.
Yeah, exactly. I just did our butternut squash like last month because they got left, and they last for quite a long time, but we weren't eating them. So we made some pasta sauce. We had some leftover tomatoes too in our freezer. So we made some butternut squash pasta sauce and canned it. And then I also just did cubes of butternut squash in my freezer to throw into soups or whatnot.
That sounds delicious.
It's pretty good. And also it's a great way to sneak in the vegetables for my kids. So a lot of times I will shred things like carrots and zucchinis. I grate everything, and then that way I can put it in things and my kids don't notice as much. So where can we find you and connect with you?
So Instagram is the best place. My handle is at the Sarah Pettitt. And yeah, just head over there, shoot me a DM if you want, or you can grab those 2 freebies that we mentioned.
Yeah, I will have all of the links in the show notes below. So make sure you connect with Sarah on Instagram, or go grab one or both of her free guides. And it was so great to have you on.
Thanks so much.